All righty, welcome to the latest and greatest from Step Brothers Sports, part of the Hockey Podcast Network and the Bills Mafia Buffalo family. Make sure to subscribe to all of our socials and all our platforms. For me, at CFMAZ. For him, at the Don NHL, or you can find us on YouTube at Step Brothers Sports. Don't forget to like the video, rate, review, do all those other great things you can do to help the show with engagement. So, folks, we are glad to be back after an amazing time at MafiaCon this past weekend. Big thanks once more to Del Reed, 26 Shirts, the crew at Trainwreck Sports, and Bruckman Media. They went spectacular, and that's all thanks to the hard work put on by them. And it was an honor to be part of it again.
And then, absolutely, and also special thanks to our MafiaCon guests. We had former Buffalo Bill linebacker and also now my current day business partner Marcus Dowden, and of course Buffalo Football Boutique clothing designer, Miss Abigail Lee. So thank you to both of them for joining us up on stage. And we want to let you all know that both the full MafiaCon set audio as well as today's episode with our esteemed guests will be available later this afternoon. So you will have, in essence, a double shot of episodes to enjoy on your favorite podcast app of choice.
All right. Thanks for getting that up and running, Shawnee V. But at this point, Buffalo Bills rookies report to training camp today, with the rest of the team reporting in exactly 1 week. So our returning guest today is one of the best in the business, and he has covered the team for over 4 decades, tons of experience, an accomplished author about the team as well as on many other topics. And he provides excellent analysis in the Rochester Democrat and Chronicle. And also, even if they do piss him off a little bit, he often writes a great newsletter, The Pinstripe People, about the New York Yankees. Please welcome back Sal Maiorana.
Hey, guys. How are we doing today?
We're great, Sal. We appreciate the time you're able to give us today. Yeah, good to have you back. A year later, I think we had roughly around the same time of year, too, just before training camp. But, Sal, how's the offseason been treating you?
Been good. Been very good. My favorite time of the year, guys, is the off season when the Bills are away. I love this. Are you kidding? Get to sit on my deck and do whatever I'm doing, read a book, write my newsletter. I don't have to worry about football. And now the summer ends next week. So unlike you guys who love the football season, it's work for me. So I'm not exactly thrilled that we're back to it. But look, it's what we do, and it's all good.
Absolutely. Sal, first and foremost, Chris and I were somewhat hopeful. We missed you at MafiaCon, as he was one of our favorite Western New York media personalities. We were hoping we may have seen you there. Talbot and their show was there. But I wanted to ask you, just as a quick side note, coming off of MafiaCon for us, have you at any point so far in 3 years been asked to be a guest on any of the shows? And do you have any thoughts about the event?
Nope. They don't even know I exist, guys. I'm over here in Rochester, out of sight, out of mind. It's all good. Don't need it. I'm fine. I'm in Buffalo enough, so I don't need one more trip over there. But I know it's a great event. I know Dell does a great job. Everything that he does. I mean, all this Bills Mafia stuff, and it's awesome. The fan base is tremendous, and I know that it's a good time for a lot of you guys over there. So have at it. But I'm perfectly good to just relax here in Rochester and enjoy my summer.
Absolutely. We love that. And you know what it is? It's Chris and I and a lot of the other, I think we had 10 total pods on there. Hey, it makes us feel like we're getting called up to the big leagues, Maybe someday we'll parlay that into something a little more professional. But I know we have a shorter show today. We want to get into a very heavy dose of Bills leading into camp, like Chris may have said. But before we do, I do want to ask you quickly if you cared to share any opinions about the news of the day. With several high-profile ESPN personalities getting let go. Mainly, I think I saw Pelissero and Ryan Clark.
Yeah, that's the Ryan Clark doesn't surprise me at all. I think he's one of the worst guys I've ever seen. Pelissero is shocking. I haven't really looked at it too closely because I've had my head down today. I've got a lot of training camp stuff that I was doing. Plus, I had 2 dog walks and an elliptical workout, so I haven't really paid attention too much. I knew the Ryan Clark stuff yesterday. Pelissero is news to me, so that's shocking because he's really good at what he does. But you know what? That merger with NFL Network and ESPN, you knew that they weren't going to keep all those guys. So I'm a little surprised that someone as high profile as him. But that's surprising to hear.
Yeah, especially considering Pelissero was one of their more respected insiders. And
he's a guy you could trust. He's a guy you can trust as opposed to some of those other guys on ESPN who I don't trust at all. I mean, that's a guy that I don't know what went into that decision, but they have so many former athletes on there stealing paychecks at ESPN. It's insane to me because they offer nothing. They offer nothing in terms of true knowledge and analysis. They have knowledge of, yeah, I played the game, but I'm sorry, you get rid of a guy like Pelissaro who was so tuned into everything. That's a foolish move, I think, on their part.
Yeah, hopefully he gets a little bit of some greener pastures headed his way too. Because again, I enjoyed his work.
He'll land on his feet. I mean, the guy's good at what he does. He'll end up somewhere. So I'm not too concerned about that. But surprising for them to do it.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, let's go ahead and get right to it just while we have you, Sal. So I've been catching up on your latest series in the Democrat and Chronicle. And it's been a great way to really get caught up to speed on the status of the Bills going into training camp. But you've had almost like a daily question or just like a theme of the day for your articles. You included DJ Moore in the wide receiver room, Alec Anderson, offensive line, James Cook, Dalton Kincaid, and you had today's featured story on Tyler Bass. So since it's a 10-part series, obviously more to come, of course. Of all the features you've done so far, the first 5, which do you think out of those so far is the biggest question for the team going into training camp out of the ones you've written so far? Because obviously we don't want you to give away all the things you have in the pipeline.
Well, the next 5 are going to be on the defense. Obviously, we took care of the offense and the kicking game at the start. Now it's all going to be about defense, which really are the biggest questions on the team. That's the thing that we really haven't gotten a grip on, because no matter how much we think we know, we don't know until we actually see how Leonard is going to deploy these guys. So it's a lot of mystery there. But of the stuff I've done so far, obviously the left guard position, we kind of know what DJ Moore is going to give them. We sort of know how it's going to work out in the wide receiver room and who's going to do what. Left guard is a gaping hole. I mean, David Edwards, I hope people understand that he's a really good player, and they're going to miss him. They are not replacing him with a better guy, whether it's Alec Anderson or Austin Corbett or anybody else. They're going to be a little bit down at that position, at least until one of those guys proves otherwise. So that to me is the one hole you look at on offense that they've got to figure out. So it's boring watching offensive line competitions, but that might be the one that's most interesting at training camp.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sal, the first segment of our Set Up Mafia account, just to give us a quick throwback to over the weekend, we had discussed the Bills' recent ESPN rankings. I don't know if you saw it, but at the skill group, running back, tight end, receiver, coming in at a surprisingly low, I felt, ranking of 29th. Is that warranted? What were your thoughts about seeing that?
On who was that, guys?
It was the skill position. So receiver, tight end, running back, 29th overall.
Yeah, that's really surprising when you have Josh Allen and James Cook. I mean, those are 2 of the best players in the NFL. I look, those guys, the rankings guys, I mean, you're talking to the wrong guy here. I just think it's all a bunch of I don't know if I can swear on this podcast.
You absolutely can.
Oh, fire away.
A bunch of bullshit. These power rankings and ranking positions, all that is covering content during a dull time of the season. It's all a bunch of bullshit. I don't pay attention to any of it. And for anyone to say the Bills have the 29th best skill position group, that's absurd too. They have the number 1 quarterback, in my opinion. They have a running back who's coming off a rushing title, who I think doesn't even get the love he deserves. I mean, we're talking about all kinds of guys before you get to James Cook. Their tight end room, I mean, if Dalton Kincaid, I know it's a big if he stays healthy, he is probably a top 10 tight end. Dawson Knox is a pretty good number 2. So, yeah, their wide receiver room, okay, not very good, but 29th? I mean, come on. Don't even take it seriously. I mean, don't even take that seriously. It's stupid. Who was that by? Was that ESPN?
ESPN.
Well, figures. Well, there you go. I mean, that's all you need to say.
Par for the course.
ESPN. Yeah, par for the course, right.
All righty. But yeah, obviously, like you said, don't want to give too much away on there, just because, as you said before, the defensive questions will be coming in the next few days, and we'll get a little bit more into that later. But still, Joe Brady, obviously, plenty have been talked about him over the offseason. Him taking the helm after Sean McDermott's departure, probably arguably the biggest storyline from the past offseason. I mean, just kind of straight off the bat, just off the cuff, what do you think, maybe just even one of them, what do you think would be his biggest hurdle to potentially overcome, or even just like a few off the top of your head, Sal, to overcome in a season with really like enormous expectations? Because they're still in a lot of different betting books, sports books, the AFC favorite, despite having the coaching change.
No, the biggest obstacle he has to overcome is becoming a CEO. I mean, that's the biggest obstacle that all these first-time head coaches have to come to grips with. You're used to taking care of one side of the ball. Now he's got to worry about the whole aspect, the whole organization, really. Everything is under his purview now. Some guys can handle it very well. I mean, I thought Sean McDermott, as a first-time head coach, did that pretty well right from the start, and he only got better as the years went on. Say what you want about his defense and the failures that they've had, but he was a very good CEO. I mean, he learned his lessons probably from talking to Marv Levy, who was the ultimate CEO. That guy was the master delegator, Marv was, and that's how you got to be as a head coach today. So he's got to negotiate that aspect of it, I think, the most. And he's still going to be very heavily involved, obviously, with the offense. And I think he hired a guy in Jim Leonard who he's going to trust to handle that side. Now, obviously Brady's got to be a part of it, but let's be honest, Jim Leonard is going to be running that side of the ball for him, and he's not going to. It was like Sean McDermott with his offensive coordinators. Believe me, people all want to say that McDermott had a decision on everything, and this is why they ran the ball too much. No, that was because he gave it to the offensive coordinators, and when it came time to go for it on fourth down, Sean made the call. So I think Brady will be fine in his role on offense. I think he's going to delegate on defense and special teams. And again, the whole thing will come down to, does he have, this newfangled term, the bandwidth to handle everything? That's what we got to find out about Joe Brady.
Absolutely, Sal. So follow up on Brady real quick. Do you see, and I know I don't, but I want to hear your opinion. Is there a catastrophic enough season scenario that could play out that you can see that either Brandon Beane being gone or Joe Brady gets fired after 1 year at the helm?
Well, not Joe Brady, no. I mean, they're going to give him. I mean, it's funny. He does step into a unique situation here because usually a first-time head coach is coming into a lousy team, right? That's why they've changed coaches. This is really a unique situation. He's joining a team, not joining. He's been promoted to head coach of a team that's already a Super Bowl contender that has huge expectations, and really the expectations are even higher than they were with McDermott because people are starting to get worried about the window, the proverbial window closing, which I don't think it is, by the way, but people worry about that. So he's going to have to come in, running in this position because there's no way for a slip up here. The expectation is AFC Championship game and Super Bowl. So that's going to be a difficult thing for him to negotiate. But no, he's not getting fired if they don't make the playoffs. And Brandon Beane, I'd be surprised if that happened. Not out of the realm of possibility since they just axed Sean McDermott, but I think Beane would probably get at least 2 years with Brady, even if they missed the playoffs. So that's kind of what I think would be there.
Yeah, agreed.
That's fair. Just kind of looking holistically at the AFC now. A lot of rivalries for the Bills all throughout the conference, whether it's with Kansas City, Baltimore, now with the Patriots returning back to the fold after the last year when they took the AFC East title. But Sal, other than the ones I listed there, which teams in the conference do you think really pose the biggest challenge to the Bills this year? I mean, the schedule itself early on, even including those NFC teams, is pretty demanding. Do you think just say through like the first 6 or so games, I think through that bye week, I know they have an October bye this year. Do you think they're really up for the challenge to start off maybe coming out swinging from the gates? I mean, they're starting off with Houston, who's always given them a real house of horrors, especially in Houston this year. Then a short week against a pretty pissed off Detroit team coming off a disappointing season for them. What do you think going into the early parts of this year? And Sean, I know you want to add a part on the Patriots as well.
Yeah, look, that start of the schedule was brutal. I mean, talk about jumping in, putting your feet to the fire right away for Joe Brady. If they come out, I'm serious, guys, if they come out of that 3-3, that's going to be a win for them. I really believe that. They've got a tough road. I mean, just starting in Houston right away. That's a team that, like you said, it's a house of horrors for them. That defense has given them fits. That's going to be a brutal game to win. The Rams game there is going to be really tough. The Lions could be tricky. Even the Chargers in Buffalo could be tricky. So yeah, I think if they get off 3-3, that's going to be doing pretty well. And then they can make some hay in the middle of the year, and then they finish with a pretty tough stretch too. So yeah, it's going to be a difficult road for the Bills for sure this year. In terms of the Patriots and other teams in the conference, I think the Patriots are good. They obviously took advantage of a really easy schedule. We've talked about that a million times. Well, guess what, guys? The Bills had a pretty similar schedule last year. There were only a few opponents that were different, and the Bills took advantage of it too. Both teams have really tough schedules this year. So I still believe the Patriots are going to be right there for the division. And then in the conference, look, Baltimore is going to be back. I'm pretty sure of that. I think the Broncos are really good. I don't know what to make of the Jaguars. I thought they were a little bit over their skis a bit last year, but it's a good team. There'll be someone to be reckoned with. Houston, maybe. I think Stroud's the big issue there. I mean, is he going to be good, or is it going to be all defense and then they really go nowhere? Chargers, maybe. I never believe in the Chargers, so we'll see. We'll see this year. And then maybe Cincinnati. If Burrow's truly back, they've made some improvements. Yeah, there's some good. And then the Chiefs. Can't forget the Chiefs, because they're going to be back, folks. Mahomes, I think, will be ready to go week 1. I'd be surprised if he's not out there. And they've retooled their team a little bit. They're going to be right back in the mix of being pains in the asses like they always are.
Absolutely. Sal, and you somewhat answered my question because you're that good, obviously. But specifically regarding the Pats, in these parts, we all know too well the challenges of what that first place schedule looks like. Definitely quite the seemingly gauntlet for Drake May and co to navigate this season. So, with that all being said, we've kind of outlined the answer to this question already. I'll ask you for maybe a prediction. Do you see them slipping back to reality enough with the Bills, the newness on defense, and Joe Brady taking over as a CEO? Do you see the Bills getting the division back?
I think the Bill. I'm gonna pick the Bills to win the division this year. I think they can win it, because I do think the Patriots will slide back a little bit. Now, whether that's 5 or 6 losses, who knows? Is Buffalo going to be good enough to lose only 5 or 6? It's a great question. I think it's going to be right down to the wire between those two teams. I don't see much of a difference. I mean, yeah, okay, Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the league. I think Drake May is really good, and you just handed him A.J. Brown, who is the best receiver in the division for sure, certainly among those two teams. So I think they're going to be a good team. They're going to be a tough out for the Bills for sure.
Yeah, I feel like it'll come down to the wire again. I think by the time you get to weeks 16, 17, I think by week 18, it'll probably be wrapped up. But I think this year it's definitely going to be a coin flip, just like it was last year. But I do agree, Sal. I think the Bills will not just obviously take it as like a homer take by any means, but I think the Bills will have a bit of a bounce back in the division. Not to give any guarantees what they'll do beyond the regular season, but still, I do like the idea that they can kind of reclaim the AFC East crown. But kind of shifting things over to the defense, you mentioned Jim Leonard, and obviously that's going to be a big transitional component for the team as well. Taking control of the defense, shifting to that 3-4 scheme. TJ Parker, the first draft pick of the team, even though it was a second-round pick, got Bradley Chubb coming in as another edge rusher. Probably considering that they're more of their blue chip acquisition, if you even consider them that high in that regard anymore. But that mindset shift from a more conservative bend but don't break style from Sean McDermott, and shifting to what could likely be a more aggressive live and die by the bigger plays and more risky approach to this D-line. I mean, we'll see if that can really have a big uptick in production, because you still have question marks for players like TJ Sanders with kind of a lack of production last year. Dwayne Carter, what's he going to look like after his Achilles tear? Greg Rousseau, he's going to be having different roles and responsibilities, going from a pure edge rusher now to that 3-4 outside linebacker role. What are your thoughts on the defense going into training camp?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a great unknown. I mean, we just don't know. I mean, you can't really tell when we're over there for these OTA practices. They show us nothing, basically. It's going to be really interesting to see how they end up deploying these guys. Now, I'm hoping that this shift is going to unlock Greg Rousseau. I mean, being a stand-up outside linebacker, look, he's not going to be dropping into coverage, guys. So his responsibilities aren't going to be vastly different. I looked it up last year. on passing plays he was on the field for, he rushed the quarterback 93% of the time. So that's going to be the same thing. Bradley Chubb in this defense, the odd man front, passing plays on the field, he rushed 85% of the time. Those guys are edge rushers. That's what they are. You could call them outside linebackers, but very rarely are they going to be dropping into coverage. Maybe when Michael Hoyt's on the field, you would see more of that because he's done that. So these guys are going to be outside rushers. So if you're going with an odd man front, you're probably going to be rushing those guys from the outside. You may rush all three guys on the inside for basically a 5-man rush. I would guess one of those guys will come off for a DB, but I think you've got some more flexibility than the old 4-3 Well, actually, it wasn't even that. It was a 4-2-5 defense from McDermott. This will be a more multiple defense. But as I said, we just don't know. We have no idea what Landon Jackson's role is going to be, or where they're going to put even Deion Walker. We're not sure where they're going to put him. Is he going to be on the nose? Is he going to be the 5 tech or 4-eye, whatever you want to call it? We just don't know. Now, I'm hoping they're all going to be interchangeable and they can play all three of those positions, those tackles in the middle. But it's a work in progress. I can't give you a definitive answer of this is what I expect and this is what it's going to look like, because I honestly don't know, and nobody knows except those guys, of course.
Yeah. Quick follow-up, Sal, too. Just a real quick one. I mentioned Bernard. I don't know if you heard me. Obviously, his health is a pretty big question coming back into the season. Once Pro Bowl caliber player, arguably. Are you team Bernard getting back into kind of the swing of things in this new defense, or are you one of the guys like myself that likes Elam Zor's chances of maybe getting some significant playing time early?
Yeah, I mean, I think Terrell Bernard is due for a bounce back. I think if last year, people have to understand he really was hurt. I mean, it was frustrating for fans because he was out there. He played 12 games, but he was really at way less than 100% most of the time. He was even early in the season because he had a training camp. I think he had a hamstring in training camp. He was never healthy all year. So we've seen what kind of player he can be, and I also think that this scheme change might be good for him. He talked about it. A bunch of us were talking to him at some point in the OTAs, and he thinks that the new defense will be able to take more advantage of his skill set, meaning he can be a man-to-man cover guy. He wasn't a great zone cover guy in McDermott's defense, but he thinks that he's athletic enough to get on a guy and stick with him in coverage, and then he'll be used more as a blitzer. We saw that his first year as a starter. He had 6.5, I think it was 6.5 sacks. Because right. McDermott used him a little bit more. They totally got away from that these last 2 years. So I think that's going to help him. So I think he is going to be in for a bounce back. Dorian Williams, I don't know. He's an inconsistent player. Not sure what you're going to get. And Elam Zor, I mean, look, he's a 5th round pick, right? I mean, yeah right. He might end up being, Khalil Shakir was a 5th rounder. He might end up being a real good player. I'm not expecting it right away. I will remain on this train that I don't know why they didn't take an off-ball linebacker with that first pick. I mean, TJ Parker might end up being fine, but I thought they were already pretty set, and that's right. Even before they signed Mike Dana. They already had 3 really good, I think, outside linebackers, Rousseau, Hoyt, Chubb, after they signed him. I felt they really could have taken an off-ball linebacker. My man crush was on Jacob Rodriguez. He ended up going to the Dolphins, which really sucks. Right. And then there were 5 of those guys. 5 of those guys were taken between TJ Parker and the end of the 2nd round. I thought Buffalo whiffed there. I thought that was the way to go. But, hey, hopefully Elam Zor is the guy that will surprise us all as a 5th round pick. And hopefully he's got a good future with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of question marks with that linebacking room for sure. But I wanted to shift over a little bit to hockey because your BLEAV podcast was able to do a little shift to the Buffalo Sabres as they were making their playoff run. So obviously valiant effort. They made their way through the Boston Bruins, winning in 6 games, but still stung to see the Sabres get eliminated the way they did. They were just a goal away from beating Montreal and heading to the Eastern Conference Finals, of course. So Sal, on a more like macro look of the team, and after kind of looking back on it as well, what did you like from the Sabres offseason so far, whether it was the way they handled the draft, the way they kind of just want to count on internal development from the players that they have? And also, do you think they're done adding or making some moves on here? Because Jarmo Kekalainen has a very aggressive mentality, as he has shown in the past. A lot of rumors with speculation on a potential trade for Connor Hellebuck, or even signing Patrick Kane for that matter. But in your eyes, Sal, is this team better or worse on paper, or ultimately, what do you think of their outlook going into the next season?
Yeah, look, as we sit here today on whatever this is, July, whatever the hell it is, they're not a better team. They don't have Bowen Byram on their team anymore. And they don't have Greenway, who say what you want about Greenway, and they don't have Alex Tuck. So you can't say they're a better team today. The guys they drafted, you're not going to see those guys this year. They're both going back to college. So those are going to give you nothing this season. So right now, they're not a better team. Can they get Connor Hellebuck? They probably could. I'm not sure I'd be happy with the price it's going to cost. And I don't know. I mean, I've talked to some of the beat guys. Harrington's a good buddy of mine, Matt Fairburn. They've said, what are you really getting with Hellebuck? Right? He's been terrible in the postseason for Winnipeg the last few times he's been there. Good regular season goalie. He won a gold medal for the U.S. Also had a superstar team in front of him. He was great that game. Don't get me wrong. But do you really want to pay the price for a 33-year-old goaltender when you had good goaltending? Look, guys, I'm not saying they were great in the playoffs, but they had one of the best goalie rotations in the league last year. Both of those guys were UPL and Alex Lyon were pretty good. So run it back with them. I don't. Goalies are you're never quite sure what you're going to get. You don't know what version of Hellebuck you're going to get. Would that make them better? I guess in the short term, maybe. I'm just not sure it's worth the cost that it's going to be. I don't want to break up this young core. I'm perfectly fine. You know what, guys? I am perfectly fine with the Sabres actually taking a step back this year if this young core grows and develops and then becomes something for years and years to come. And that could be what happens here. Or they're just great. The young core comes out smoking and they're just going to take the next step forward. But I would bet on the latter right now.
Love that. Sal, how are we doing on time? I got
a few more minutes. Go ahead. Okay, I got a few more minutes.
I mean, whenever we have you on, we know we couldn't avoid this next one. So your Yankees. Twitter timeline is regularly full of criticism about them. Although Yankees currently sitting at 56-44 in second place in a highly competitive AL East at the moment, right on the heels of Tampa Bay. They just never seem to die. They just reload every year. Trailing by a razor-thin margin, a game and a half back. Boston is on a 14-game heater at the moment, seeming to have found something like they tend to do like every other year. But still, analytic models give your boys 90% plus chance to reach the postseason. So I think we asked you this last time you were on. Is this team a contender, and what's been the biggest struggle for them this year?
Are they a contender? Yeah, obviously they're a contender. Do I think they're going to win the World Series? No, absolutely not. There's no way they're going to win. This team, as constructed, is not winning the World Series. There's 4 or 5 teams in the National League that I think are clearly better than the Yankees if they were to get there. American League is down this year, there's no doubt. But I tell you what, things are starting to turn. Like you just mentioned, the Red Sox, things are starting to turn for a few teams too. And I think the second half, you're going to see some improvement in the American League. There is going to be no way possible that the Yankees are just going to skate through the American League playoffs to get to the World Series. It is going to be a struggle, and I'm not even quite sure what they're going to do with the deadline that's going to make it any better, because there's really just not a lot of guys that you look, unless they make a major deal that we don't see coming, where they just trade like 5 prospects for, I'll name a guy, Mason Miller or whoever it's going to be. I don't think there's anybody out there that's going to be such a dominant, big-time acquisition that'll push them forward. They're going to be in the playoffs. It's hard. It'll be hard for the Yankees to miss the playoffs the way the American League is this year. But no, I don't have any faith that they're going to win the championship and end this drought. I just don't see it. Their offense, even if they get Judge back, we don't even know what version of Judge there's going to be when he comes back with that rib injury. That could be a thing that he's hampered even when he gets back, that he's not going to be the same player. So, no, with this offense as bad as it can be, I do not have any faith that they're going to win a championship this year.
Fair enough. Well, I'll tell you what, if you'd be willing to send me over a Schittler package, I'd probably give you Paul Skeens.
Who are you? Oh, you're a Pirates fan?
Oh, he's diehard.
Oh yeah, I didn't even see your.
I'm in the stadium, of course. Yeah.
I'm on my phone.
Oh yeah. I
Oh,
forgot on the computer. No, but I do want to ask you about, if I can, about I'm a Pirates fan. My dad and I just went to. We have like the mini pack, so we just went to the Brewers, swept the Brewers, division leading Brewers. We missed Mazeroski. It was supposed to be Skeens Mazeroski, best pitching matchup of the whole year, and my arm hurts. He didn't heal good enough from his last start. But I wanted to ask you about the Pirates, watching from afar. Number one offense in baseball, a pretty above average starting rotation, and the worst relief corps in the league. Would you give my Pirates a chance?
No, I'll push back on that. I just saw the Nationals for 3 games. They're not the worst relief corps in the league. Believe me.
Okay.
That team is pathetic in their bullpen. Pirates are not much better, though. I agree. I appreciate that Skeens pitched Sunday and the Yankees missed him, so that was really good. Look, they're a tricky team. I mean, they're in it. What are they, 2 games back in the wild card?
Yeah.
I mean, they've given themselves a chance, which is it's been 2015 since they made the playoffs last.
McCutcheon, Young. Yeah.
Yeah. So their offense is really good. I mean, I saw it last night. I mean, this Valdez kid, where the hell did he come from?
He got 13 homers and 100 at bats.
I know. This is the stuff that pisses us Yankee fans off.
Yeah,
Why do we see all these 21, 22-year-old kids come up and are stars, and the Yankees have none of these guys? I mean, Schlittler. Right. Okay, I'll give you Schlittler.
Yeah.
And Ben Rice. Ben Rice is 26. He's not 22. The Yankees have none of these guys in their system that can come up right away and do what that kid's doing for Pittsburgh. It's really frustrating if you're a Yankee fan that all they ever rely on are these old guys that they're paying way too much money for, who end up fading out by the end of the year. It's insane to me.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but Sal, we want to thank you for your time. Of course, we want to get you out of here real quick, but just give yourself a plug for where people can find your regularly great work. Maybe give a preview for what you have coming down the pike with Adam Bonini on your BLEAV in Bills pod, and obviously you got plenty to look forward to for the rest of your 10-part series on the questions you have leading into training camp.
Yep. Yeah. DemocratandChronicle.com is where all my Bills stuff is, obviously. And we're cranking up here with camp. Finishing I'm doing basically 10 training camp questions. It's kind of pretty much just one for each position group. So that's going on. Camp is here for only 9 days, which really sucks. Not happy about that at all. Because then I got to go to Buffalo and do practice.
Yeah.
Much better have it in my backyard over here. So
right.
That's not good. The BLEAV network, they've been pretty good to us. We started with BLEAV in Bills podcast, and we branched off when the Sabres started getting their run together. So we're doing BLEAV in Sabres. When they get back, we'll continue to do that. And they've also asked me to do this new Pinstripe People Yankees podcast, which I started about 3 or 4 weeks ago with a guy in Syracuse called Mike Lindsley. Good media guy there. So we've been doing that, trying to get subscribers over to that. It's been tough. It's tough because that's a pretty crowded space. The Yankees podcast is pretty crowded space, but I'd appreciate anybody giving us a listen. And then my Pinstripe People newsletter, which is now a paid subscription service. After 5 years of giving it away for free, I thought it was time to start getting paid for the work. So my Twitter handle, my Twitter feed, the pinned tweet is right there. If there's any Yankee fans out there who want to get what I think is pretty damn good comprehensive analysis of the Yankees, so you can go ahead and sign up and pay for some really good content. That would be real nice.
Not to mention a lot of unfiltered takes, to say
you
the
might
least.
Get a few swear words in that. With the words I can't use in the DNC, I can use in my newsletter.
There you go.
Awesome.
Anyways, Sal, we really appreciate the time. I know you said you had a busy day ahead of you there. So good luck with the move for your daughter and all things coming ahead to you in training camp. Thank you again so much for your time.
Thanks for having me, guys. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. All right, and that was Sal Maiorana. So again, he's been gracious enough with his time. We'll be back again next week, folks. Thanks for all those tuning in for our little matinee special here. Shawnee V, any closing thoughts?
Follow Sal and give him a subscription purchase, please.
All right. That'll do it for us, folks. As always, let's go Buffalo.
Let's go Buffalo.